team and everybody on Facebook. I'd love to introduce you to our friend, Mark Roberts. Mark is a gentleman of on our core team. He has been living with vascular dementia about 15 years, Mark. Is that accurate or something else?
No, since 2014.
Oh, 2014. I got the numbers wrong. I'm sorry about that.
6 years, 7 years.
6 or 7 years since you got diagnosed.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And so let me check in your history of how perhaps this vascular started. What I understand is that you actually had a lung disease when you were in your 20s.
Yes.
And you began, for medications and complications, you began having seizures.
Right.
And passing out.
Right.
And then later on, you developed diabetes.
Right.
And you also were treated for some, I guess, mental illness that was improperly diagnosed, and medications you had side effects. Is that accurate? Or is there something I'm missing?
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. And so what you've shared with me is your first symptoms of vascular, which has to do with a lack of blood supply to the tissue instead of protein buildups necessarily, is you started being challenged with your short-term memory.
Yes.
And your ability. Now you were in maintenance, and you could fix anything. You were in charge of a whole community.
Right.
So you started noticing in your 50s that you were having trouble doing those very complicated tasks.
Right. And the communication between individuals to work on that project.
Yeah, so that's the thing you said you wanted to focus on today, that you wanted to talk about speech or communication,
right,
and comprehension.
Right. I think that's about the most important thing for a lot of folks to maybe understand. If they're going to be diagnosed, that maybe they've had the same problem, which all of us did, having dementia. It was always down to speech. Am I really hearing what they're saying? And then it boils down to, we go and take a test with a neurologist, and bingo. That's most all the people that I have associated with, that's how it all starts, that they remember.
Yeah, so a lot of people notice that the way they're taking in information is, well, the people around them are saying, no, that's not what I meant. Or you're having trouble getting someone to understand what you mean.
Right. And to understand what I mean would say that somehow, even when I'm speaking to someone, I may use a word that I didn't even think I said, also, which confuses folks. And it's took me almost 6 years to figure that out, because living with my whole family, I notice if I talk about something that we're going to work on, they'll say, okay, you said to do that, and that's not what I was thinking. I thought I had said something different. So that's also
I just want to check in. I want to check in, Mark. So what I'm hearing you say is, so in that left part of your temporal lobe that produces language and has vocabulary, you're noticing now that sometimes what your brain says you said is not the words that actually came out that the other people hear.
Correct.
So when I spoke with you and Brenda last week about some of this, you mentioned something that you've started to try to help with that. That you've developed a new thing that you do in that back and forth that you do.
Right. And I don't try to use a lot of sentences, and then I ask them, do you understand what I'm saying? And am I clear what I have said,
So you're doing a check-in.
Right. I ask them to feed me back what I said. And
Okay, so you're giving that back and forth. Yeah, you were talking about what we call in PAC, you're using some validation or some reflecting by
right.
checking in. Here's what I think I heard you say. Is that okay? What's neat, I notice about it, is that sometimes I think people who are trying that skill of reflection think it's just on them to do the reflecting. And what's really neat is you, as a person living with dementia, you're using it too to check
Right.
in as a tool that goes back and forth. And I think that's really
Yeah, because
a
the
really neat.
people don't, even if I was in that conversation and come out with a bunch of different words that didn't make sense what I was telling them. Usually a lot of folks don't say, well, I quite don't clear what you said. So I found myself in more problems, and especially at work, by not asking them to repeat what I had said. Um, so then I started at work to do that. And before I just about retired, I would ask them what if I said what, or I guess that's what I want to say is that I've asked them back for feedback on what I have explained for instructions or what we're going to do next or whatever. So,
So
especially in my
you've
field.
learned that. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, so you learned early on, even while you were still working, that checking in, did you understand me? What did you hear me say?
Right.
So that's the communication aspect of speech. Now I'd like to think about that comprehension aspect or understanding what you're hearing. And you had talked about how you have developed a skill. Now, when you say you live with your family, we're talking about you live with your family. It's almost like a little compound where you've got multiple branches and you all come together for family meals and gather.
Right. Except
So
for my youngest daughter. She lives 5 miles away, but
oh boy. Whew.
okay. So I have my oldest daughter, husband, and 2 grandsons. So
Okay. So you were talking about what it's like at the dinner table when everybody's gathered. So tell me a little bit about that experience for you. What works, what doesn't?
what doesn't work is if they're all talking. That's just like nailing something down. Hey, you just ain't getting this one. So I don't even try to get into that conversation. I try not to. But
You told me you tune out. You do your best to tune out the group. So you just
right.
focus on your eating.
But if there's a grandson that wants to say something to me or ask me something, I'll turn and he turns right to me. So we're face to face, or someone across the table. We're face to face and nobody else is talking. They've all grouped in to help me with this, which is very nice for them to do. And then I'm getting about the best. That doesn't mean that I don't get it scrambled up a little bit, but at least I have a better chance of not asking them to repeat themselves.
Okay, so I'm curious when the group, so normally you most of the time you stay focused on your eating, but then when something engages you, one person, you stop the eating and you go right to that communication.
Right.
Now, does the rest of the group zip it while you do that?
Pretty much so. Pretty much so. Or there might be a couple of them that'll be carrying on a conversation, but they tone themselves down, so it's more like I'm getting all the attention and I can hear them better. So it has worked real well, except for my great granddaughter. I mean, what he has for a year and a half old, She's a
She's
gabbing like
new.
crazy. Yeah.
She's new to PAC skills.
Yeah.
So that's really nice, Mark, that it sounds like your family's awareness of you can either do something or connect. And when you're connecting one-on-one without other distracting noise.
Correct.
And one last thing I want to share that you said to me when we were having the conversation about these two pieces is that the way you've learned to deal with this is part of your living curve.
Right.
Can you tell me a little bit more for you to wrap it up? What does the living curve mean to you?
Well, um, I was in a lot of confrontation with everybody. I'm talking about family because I would assume they knew what I was saying or whatever. And I didn't want them to get angry with me. And my son-in-law won't talk to me if that makes him frustrated. And so I didn't want to make anyone angry or which I felt that they probably wouldn't even want to talk to me. So I made the decision to change. And I have, even when I got the diagnosis, Brenda was so upset with me because I just calmed right down. I just sunk in the seat and said, I understand. And she's like, no, you don't. You know, you put me through whatever, heck, and to get to this point. But by making myself to concentrate on being the choice words, choice sentences, or subjects, really mellows things out much easier. And they know now that I won't, if they said, no, Dad, that you're a little off on it, I'm not going to bite them. You know, I'm not going to snap at them. And
so you've been able to learn, Mark, how to actually make choices for yourself.
Right.
And actually grow some skills on your own with your family growing their skills.
Right. And that's
so it's really
right. That's how close our family is. I mean, and I wanted to make sure too that Brenda would, you know, that we wouldn't separate or anything because it got almost to that point. But I didn't blame her for any of that. I didn't accuse her of any of that. I told her I would change. I'll try, you know, we got to try some things. We'll have to go for counseling, which we did for almost 2 years. And that just mellowed me right down to the point I'm listening. Go ahead and tell me what's bothering you that I've been participating in, and I'll remember not to do that again. So that's worked out really good. And
so this kind of you've thematically brought us back around. So it's really about communication and how that can affect creating positive relationships.
Right. And they Mark, ever since I had little ones, they mean everything to me. Brenda means everything to me. And I'm not going to do anything to lose them or have their disrespect. So that's the way I looked at it.
Looking good too, Mark. When what I see and what I've spent with you guys, it's looking good. I know it's work, but I think the work is worth it.
Right. Yeah. I still
Mark,
fail.
Thank you.
Right.
Guess what?
What?
We all make mistakes. That's part of that's a part of who we are. We say, let's try, and it's okay to make a mistake and go back and say, let's try. I'm sorry, and try again.
Right.
Well, thank you, Mark, and I'm really excited. We're going to have Brenda on next in a couple weeks, I think. Thank you. This will not be the last time we visit with Mark. He has a lot of wisdom and insight to bring to the table. So thank you, Mark. You are
Yeah.
welcome to hang out with us.
Okay, Shelley,
I'm good.
she had her hand up.
Sorry.
There's so much going on Facebook. I just wanted you to know lots and lots of people are commenting. And one of the people we heard from is Tracy, your daughter, right? Talking about that as a family, you changed your environment for you, and it's part of that's what your living change is.
Right.
So, so another person we're going to talk to at some point, I know, is going to be
Right.
Tracy.
Yep.
So, but yeah, there's been tons of comments today. So
anything else to share, Shelley? Anything else you want to share? Not right now. Okay. All right. Cool. Thanks, Mark. Well, we're gonna shift gears a little bit, and we're having our formal preview of a new live on Facebook with Rebecca and Matthew. So if you want to stay and just hang out, Mark, go ahead and mute yourself, and I'm going to hand the floor or the Facebook over to them.
All right, so you guys want to see our newest intro. This time I will share the sound and the correct video.
You're doing a great job, Carrie.
It's Friday. It's definitely Friday.
You're awesome.
That's smooth. Yeah.
So I'm wondering if visuals were coming up for you guys.
Were they?
Yeah.
Yes, they came up on Facebook. Oh, did you?
I saw them.
It's awesome.
Okay. Well, were you jamming out to the music either way?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So Matthew and I are so excited to launch Sup. Sup, Matthew?
What's up?
And for any of you that were on Facebook this morning with Tipa's 10, you'll see that we had a really quick evolution because what we were talking about was supporting our PAC certified community. And we realized, which we haven't realized in all of our conversations about planning this, is that the first 3 letters of support are SUP. So we created SUP, or we had a really ingenious creative colleague who came up with SUP to stand for straight up positive. And we wanted to highlight folks who are doing great work in the community. And now we also have the extra piece of supporting each other and supporting those living with dementia. And so we want to highlight folks for the great work that they're doing with their PAC skills. What do you want to add on there, Matthew? I took over the floor.
That was such an awesome job. Yeah, no, I think after seeing about 1,800 certified community members out there, somewhere close to that, and knowing all of the amazing things that they're doing out there and how hard sometimes it can be to just share out all of what they're doing and sharing those ideas and finding a platform that's going to give them that opportunity, with us being able to highlight a PAC member doing that is going to be so amazing. And just think of the ideas you'll be able to pull from that and seeing what they're doing out there that maybe you didn't think of before, or, oh yeah, I've done that, but oh, that's a great twist to this new thing that I've been trying. And that's what we're looking for, is that support. And I think it was Tipa that totally threw that out there this morning. And we were just like, it was an aha moment, like, oh, the light shined down from the heavens on us. And we were like, that's it. I mean, so that support and that SUP is where we're bringing that into you guys out there in the certified community. And also for those folks out there maybe who are looking for, what else can I do with my trainings, or how else can I grow as a PAC certified member, or I'm not a certified member and I'm interested in potentially doing that, but I'm not quite sure, and seeing what awesome things people are doing with those certifications, and the support that comes with that. And so ultimately, again, that support, that SUP and support is what we're looking to bring to all of you out there. And we are very excited and hope to see all of you on our episodes.
So it sounds really exciting. And also, what I'm hearing too is if anybody's has a certification, but they don't really know much about others, like it's a great way to explore like what people do, what's working, how they work in tandem, you know, trainer coach, trainer consultant, engagement leader trainer. How do they all work together? So guys, when is this going to happen? When is this going to happen?
Tuesdays at 7 Eastern, right here on TIPA's Facebook Live. Tuesdays, please come join us and hear.
And how long is the session?
5 hours. No, that would be too long. How about an hour? We've got a lot that we're going to try to put in 1 hour with highlighting a certified community member, also talking about so many of the tools that TIPA's created over the years and the PAC team have created and how we can utilize those most effectively. And also, we're going to have a little bit of an expert corner, and the two ladies here on your screen, Carrie and Shelley, are our first two experts to help us learn more about this Zoom thing that so many of us have had a pivot to start using, and these two are masters at it. So we've got a lot to pack in, but we're going to do it in an hour.
Sounds great, guys. Thank you for taking the initiative to start yet another positive thing to put out in the world and how to support people who are part of the community or curious about becoming part of the community. So guys, thanks. Before we tune out, PAC team, help me out. I didn't do a little thing today. Next week, we got lots of good stuff coming up. We have a 3-day trainer certification course coming up. It's going to be August 4th through 6th, which is Tuesday through Thursday. Takes place in a sequence of 3 days for only 4 hours at a time, which is really, we're finding really manageable, 2 to 6 p.m. Eastern time.
Isn't there
really exciting.
Anything next week?
Got a couple. Wait a minute. I'm sorry, Shelley. I have a list.
There an Ask TIPA anything next week?
Yep, I was going to get to that. There's an Ask TIPA anything on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. There's also really exciting. I can't tell you enough how exciting this event is. It's a small event. It's 2 hours. It's on August 5th. That's Wednesday also. 2 hours, 10 a.m., 12 p.m. Eastern time. It's a consultation time for families with TIPA. 2 hours with TIPA, where you and a family member or two can come, bring a challenging issue you're having, and TIPA will help you problem solve. No, really, you guys, I'm saying this because this is unprecedented. There are other unprecedented things that are going on that are not so great. This one is amazing because TIPA's been on the road so much for years. People haven't got one-on-one time with her or small group time with her to actually say, here's your problem. Tell me more about it. Here's what you might want to try. So you can find all this on our website, tipasnow.com. Hit calendar, PAC events, scroll down, and all this stuff is there. So again, tipasnow.com, calendar, right at the drop down, it'll be PAC events, and just keep scrolling down and you'll see what's happening next week. So anything else, anybody?
No.
All right. Thanks everybody for joining us on Facebook. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back live at 5-ish on Monday.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a good one. Good luck, guys, next week.
What's up? That's going to be fun.